Hey viewers, my name's Cara. This is going to have to be a quick update video because I have to make sure that I can put the video on my computer because I'm running out of room, and then I can edit it and it'll be smaller. But yeah, I made a really long video a couple days ago on Thursday telling you guys how my Pagan Prejudice presentation went, and the paper is due in a couple days, but I had my presentation, so I made what I thought was going to be a quick video telling you about it, and it was like half an hour long. And granted, I took a bunch of pauses in there, but the raw file was half an hour long and there's no way I can fit that on my computer, so I have to do this quicker version. So unfortunately I cannot tell you every little bit of my presentation like I was planning to. That'll take far too long, but I do want to mention a couple things about it, and those couple of things pretty much just involve books that I talked about, which was only a couple. I read this book for my research, Where Was God When Pagan Religions Began by Lester Sumrall, and it is a horrible thing. Like, it makes me really sad and angry that books like this are allowed to exist, because this book was written by a pastor of a church in Indiana, and he has since passed away, but this is from like the 90s. Just kidding, it was copyright 1980, so 70s, 80s he was doing this. This is a book entirely about why paganism is bad and wrong and evil, and why we are to blame for a bunch of things going wrong with the world, and how Christians need to save us because we are fearful and superstitious and sad, and so this book was hell to get through. But I did read the whole thing, and there are some really funny parts, I think, like ridiculous things that he says, and there are some really eye-opening parts. Like in the beginning he talks about the creation story and how paganism is not pre-Christian because the Christian God created the universe, and so it was kind of like a light bulb moment for me that, oh, of course some people wouldn't believe that paganism is older if they believe that their God created the whole world. So his argument is that, the world started as Christian, and then the pagans denied that God and went off from there. So it's kind of a backwards view of history, but it kind of like, oh, duh, of course you would believe that if that's what you believe about the world. And so there's different chapters about, there's a whole chapter about Egypt, a whole chapter about Buddhism, a whole chapter about Hinduism, one about Greece and Rome, one about Islam, one about animism, religion of fear. It's a terrible book, but I read it. And if you're okay with being really angry about stuff, but also kind of learning another point of view, go ahead and read it. It was at my university's library. Another book that I borrowed from the university's library, which I am currently reading, is Paganism by Joyce and River Higginbotham. And this book is so great. There's a whole chapter in here about Satan and how Satan is mixed into our views and what it means and like what people think it means and stuff like that. And so that's originally why I got it out, because I thought I might be talking about that in my paper or presentation. And I'm not actually, but there's also a lot of really cool meditations in here and diagrams for how they explain things, and there's like little pictures. And there's this great picture on page 9, which you can find on like Google Books. If you Google this book, you can see part of the pages. There's this great image here of the umbrella of paganism with a bunch of different views as raindrops under the umbrella. So I used that in my presentation. Great book. I'm still reading it. Check it out. And something that my class asked me about was, because I did my presentation on paganism in general, they were asking me, because Christianity has several different branches that are all different, but the one thing that brings them together is the God that they worship. So what is the thing that is common amongst all pagans? And that's really hard to determine because we're so different. But this book really attempts to do that, and so they came up with 7 principles that, from their experience in paganism, ties together all pagan faiths. And here are the 7, and I want to know your opinions. The 2 central themes that connect pagans are interconnectedness and blessedness, so the idea that everything is interconnected and everything is sacred. And then the 7 principles are as follows. 1. You are responsible for the beliefs you choose to adopt. 2. You are responsible for your own actions and your spiritual and personal development. 3. You are responsible for deciding who or what deity is for you and forming a relationship with deity. 4. Everything contains the spark of intelligence. 5. Everything is sacred. 6. Each part of the universe can communicate with each other part, and these parts often cooperate for specific ends, magic. And number 7, consciousness survives death. I agree with all of those things, and I like the fact that nowhere in there does it say anything about nature reverence, because I have recently learned that there are a vast many pagans who don't have anything to do with nature but focus on deity. So that's not in the principles, so I'm wondering if all of you pagans out there would agree that those 7 principles work for at least a vast majority of pagans, if not everyone. So that's it for psychology. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is the fact that I'm going to England soon, in a matter of weeks. And I'm going to be there for just shy of 3 weeks, really, so I'm going to have to shut down my Etsy while I'm gone. I'm not going to be able to post videos while I'm gone. I will be taking videos and taking pictures, hopefully, whatever I can, but I'm not going to be able to upload while I'm over there because I'm not bringing my personal computer, because it's just one more thing I'll have to carry around. So you're going to have to wait until after I get back to see anything about it, so I'm going to be missing for a couple of weeks. I'm going to have substitutes on the pagan perspective and that kind of thing, so it'll be okay, I promise. But then when I get back from England, a mere matter of days later, I am graduating from college. I'm in America, so college but university equivalent. And then who knows? I don't know what I'm doing after that. I'm going to be graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Theater Arts, and I don't have a minor because I didn't have time for that, but I had to take classes in a lot of different areas for our requirements here at this college. So I've taken psychology courses, I've taken philosophy courses, I've taken some history, some biology. No math, though. I was able to totally skip math, which was good. Some art. I took ceramics last semester, you guys probably know, and I still haven't shown you all of my ceramics that I made. That'll be in a later video. But I do know that this summer I want to act in some respect. I want to spend more time with YouTube and making stuff for my Etsy, because that does also make me money if you help me out. Kind of dependent on you guys for that. So I do want to make more time for that and more time for all of my personal things as well, but I need to figure out what I'm doing and if I'm going to move or not. So that's just what I'm thinking about at this point in my life. I have to prepare to go out of the country and then graduate and go into the real world. So that'll be really fun, and hopefully I will still be making videos for a really long time, so you guys will get to experience all of that with me. That's really all I wanted to say for now, so I will talk to you guys later, and I will see you next time. Bye!